I'm honored to have hopefully the next governor of the state of Rhode Island, the guy that's going to send Governor Gump back to Exeter to pay his homestead exemptions.
Thanks to all of you in North Providence who supported me and helped me. We came close, but I want to take a few minutes to just talk about something that became so obvious to me during the campaign. What we all forget is that what does it mean to be a Republican? Because the other side, the liberals, the Democrats, try to brand us, and we don't fight enough to establish our brand and who we are and what it means to be a Republican. You know, I look at John, and I remember the day in the State House when John Laughlin, Mark Zakaria, Eric Wallen, and John Robitaille, 4 veterans, stood there and made a pledge to the veterans who live in Rhode Island that we would be there for them, support them, and we had a list of 5 or 6 things that we would fight for if we were elected. I didn't see the Democrats do that. Now, there's also a Republican who I met not too long ago because he was speaking at an event in East Providence. His name is Jan Bilak. Any of you heard Jan speak? Jan wrote a book about his escape from Czechoslovakia and socialism. And he wrote the book because he's fearful of what's happening in this country. And he sees the telltale signs of what it was like to live in Czechoslovakia under socialism. And he has a strong and powerful message. We have some good players on our team. We have some good, devout people who believe in self-reliance, who believe in the founding principles of this country like the Republican Party does. And somehow, we just can't get the media behind us. Gee, I wonder why. Because they're usually a bunch of liberals. They go to the most schools of journalism, are usually housed in the most liberal schools across the country, taught by liberal professors. So when kids get out of school in journalism and they go to work for newspapers or radio stations or television stations, there's a little bit of a bent to the left that they carry through in their reporting. So we don't have them on our side. There's very few in media who are on our side. So we have to work even harder to get our message out. I go across this state right now, and I have friends who own small businesses all across this state, and they're all hurting. You know, they are the true middle class in this country now. Hardworking entrepreneurs, mom and pop shops, the people who produce and create 70% or more of the jobs in the state of Rhode Island. And many of them are Republicans, but up until now they haven't gotten engaged because they've been too busy working for a living to get engaged in politics. I met with a group of them right before the tax day rally, and it was the group of the employment agency owners, executive search firm owners. There were probably about almost this number of people in the room. And 2 people came up to me afterwards and said, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this, but we've never been involved in politics before. We really didn't follow the election because we've been too busy trying to keep our businesses going. But boy, did we make a mistake. We're engaged now. You want to know why they're engaged now? Because it means something to them. If this tax increase gets put in, some of them will lose their businesses, lose their livelihoods, because they've leveraged the home equity in their homes to keep their businesses afloat so they can create jobs and keep people employed. And most of them have either cut their own personal salaries back or are taking no pay and trying to keep their businesses open so they can keep their employees, who literally become their family, their extended family, at work. And most of those people in that room basically told me that they believe in the values that the Republican Party professes. There are a lot of people in this state who believe like we do, like people in this room do. And we have to rally them. We really have to rally them.
Sorry, John.
That's all right. The Marines are calling now, John. You're going to have to make a decision. Army Marines. Another real... This is a true story. Last summer, and again, I want to commend you all here at North Providence for adding to your numbers on the Republican Town Committee because it really helps. Well, last summer, talk about the difference between Democrats and Republicans. On a given Sunday afternoon, there were 3 fundraisers going on Aquidneck Island. 2 in Newport, 1 in Portsmouth. 2 of them were on Bellevue Avenue in Newport in mansions. They were serving champagne, caviar, limousines. The rich and famous from all over flew in. And then there was one at Glen Farms in Portsmouth that was a chicken roast with baked beans and coleslaw. Now guess which of those were for whom? Chafee and Caprio had the mansions on Bellevue Avenue. And Robitaille was at Glen Farms shoveling out coleslaw into paper plates for $15 a head. Something's wrong with this picture. We're supposed to be the real bad Republicans, the wealthy, the rich, the Wall Street types. And when you think about it, it is so funny, the image that these buffoons try to paint of us Republicans. We're all wealthy, we don't care about the poor and the puppies and the elderly, and it's all a bunch of garbage. But the media plays up to that, and we allow them to paint that picture. But what we've got to do is, we've got to reach out to the business owners in North Providence. And you know what? When you sit down and talk with them, you'll have the same experience that I had with friends of ours who own a restaurant in Newport. When I announced I was going to run for the General Assembly back in 2006, we told them at their restaurant, and they were so excited. And Maggie jumps up and goes, "Oh my God," she gives me a hug, and we're talking, and Linda and I are talking to her, and she's got tears in her eyes, and she stops and she goes, "Wait a minute, what party are you?" I said, "I'm a Republican." She goes, "Oh no!" She goes, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't vote. I've never voted for a Republican. I'm a Democrat. My parents were Democrats, my grandparents were Democrats, and I don't know what I'm going to do. This causes me a real problem." And I said, "Maggie," I said, "you own a business?" She said, "Yeah." I said, do you think the taxes here are fair for business owners?" She said, "No, the taxes are too high." I said, "Are you happy with public education in the Newport school system?" She goes, "Oh no, it's terrible." And I said, do you think government is run efficiently and effectively?" And she goes, "No, it's not." I said, "Maggie, you're a Republican." She goes, "Don't say that!" We have got to convince them that it's okay to be a Republican. It's okay to vote for a Republican. Vote their values is what we've got to do. And we really can do this. We really can, because you know what? Right now, since the election, I can tell you how many people come up to Linda and I and just go, "Oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How can we handle this for 3.5 more years?" People have woken up. Unfortunately, they've woken up now. So what I'm leading up to is that, although I'm not running again in 2012, I'll leave it at that. We've got some good people who are. This will be a real opportunity to do what some other communities have done, is to take over the school committees, the town councils, get some more people elected to the General Assembly, take the congressional districts back. We won't have an opportunity to take over the governor's office yet, or any of the general officers, but we have a real opportunity, and we have to be smarter. We have to be smarter this time around. And we have to use what they've always used to their advantage. What do liberals do? They bring out poster childs, right? They bring out the little kids and say that we're going to take their lollipops away. They tell the seniors that John Laughlin's going to take away their Social Security. And they use fear. And they lie. They lie. And what do? We come prepared with facts and figures and analysis, and we try to talk intelligently, and people's eyes gloss over, and because we don't do a very good job of relating to the people. And that's going to change. You want to know why it's going to change? Because right now this economy is affecting so many people, and they're not going to believe the lies anymore. They're not going to believe that it's okay to take away from these people and give to these people, because guess what? The people who didn't care about it anymore are now having their pockets picked, as our friend Joe Trillo said quite often. And we have got to point that out. Because now, what does it mean to you? And I think we're going to be able to say in a couple of years, "Oh, so you're better off now than you were 2 years ago?" And the answer is going to be no. It's not. And we have to capitalize on it. And I think we can. I know we can. Because I see groups like this growing in every city and town I've been in. Because people are getting angry and they're getting engaged. And we have to do what the other side does. What did they do last election? They mobilized. They had armies of people. We can do this. We can do the same thing because we have to do it. We have to get together. There are too many right-of-center coalitions in the state that aren't connected, that aren't organized, that aren't in sync. And we have to solve that problem, because that's been a problem in this state for quite some time. And we've got to have a simpler message, and we need our own poster children, and use their tactics, and show fine examples of people who believe in the American way, who believe in self-reliance, who believe in smaller government, who believe in being held personally accountable for the choices you make in your lives. We have got to rip apart our social services network in this state, because it's designed to keep people trapped in this endless destructive cycle of codependency with government that we have to break. We have to break its back. We have to reinvent it. We have to put incentives for people to become self-reliant. And we can do this. We have to stop giving people more money for making poor choices in their lives. We have to. And 97%. And if Projo's around here, fact check me. When 97% of the occupants in subsidized housing in Providence are single mothers with multiple children, what does that tell you? Where are the men? Why are we holding them accountable? And why are we giving them more money every time they have a child? You go into those neighborhoods and what are they told? They're told not to get married. They are told not to get married. Because you'll get more money. You've got to stop that. I was talking with John a minute ago. RIPAC put a report out recently that said if we just took the average of the New England states' eligibility requirements for social services and put those average eligibility requirements in Rhode Island, we would save close to $300 million a year. $300 million a year. Just by making Rhode Island equal to other states in New England. And why do you think we have a disproportionate number of people per capita on social services than most states? Because we treat people on social services extremely well here. Rhode Island taxpayers are very generous. So we have got to address it. We have to address the pension problem, and we need to do it. We have to be relentless. And now is the time, because it's affecting so many people. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but if there's two things you can remember, we're never going to give up. We have to continue to expand our Republican town committees. We have to get good candidates and encourage candidates to run, and it takes money. We have to become fundraising machines. We have to become recruitment machines, and we can do this, and I know we can. Thank you all very much.